It's a bill that will call for the DOJ to release the Epstein files.
Put me on that list, because I did sign on to, I did co-sponsor that legislation with Ro Khanna. I sure did. I want them answers. Sure as hell was in that QAnon pack, so I want my answers.
Because there's a lot of people that need to go to jail.
There are definitely a lot of people that need to go to jail in this. Check.
We need to take the handcuffs out and start dragging people to jail.
We need to take the handcuffs off and start dragging people to jail. Check.
And President Trump, when he said it was a hoax, he's not saying that this whole situation is a hoax. Obviously.
Oh, okay, we got an explanation. We got an explanation, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can put this on the big screen for everybody to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an explanation. You got your pens and pencils? I got my notebook here. I got my pen pad. All right, let's go. When Donald Trump talks about his people and the people that he's going to have to remember, I guess he's going to have to remember people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, if I'm getting this right, did sign her name onto legislation with the Democrats calling for at least some sort of release, some sort of transparency when it comes to the Epstein files, right? I'm not sure what the specifics of it were. She might get into it here. But this is Marjorie Taylor Greene on with Steve Bannon, who, again, has been getting every single one of the people that are mad at Donald Trump, every single one of the people that are willing to call him out, I guess, or at least sign their name onto legislation calling for the release of some sort, some piece of the Epstein files. Remains to be seen just how specific she's calling or what she's calling for. But let's see if we can get into it, because apparently Donald Trump is going to have to write Marjorie Taylor Greene's name on a list. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now on Donald Trump's shit list. So here we go.
But one last thing before you go, also with all these votes coming on today, did 7 or 8 or 9 Republicans join Ro Khanna in co-sponsoring? I saw Birch's name, Eli Crane, Burleson's, yours, some of the hardest core Trump.
She's really unashamedly, unabashedly raising her hand right now on Steve Bannon's live stream saying, yep, I'm one of them. I'm sure as hell one of them. If Donald Trump's got a list, put me on that list. Because I did sign on to, I did co-sponsor that legislation with Ro Khanna. I sure did. I want them answers. Sure as hell was in that QAnon pack, so I want my answers. You damn sure know it.
I'm supporters.
Yep,
Yeah.
Me too.
What is this now?
I'm a co-sponsor.
So you're what is the legislation?
Well, how about one person at a time talks? That way you can understand what each other is saying. You morons. Have either of you done this before? I know there might be a delay, but you should have that taken into account.
This is
what's the legislation? What's the amendment?
Christ.
It's legislation. It's a bill that will call for the DOJ to release the Epstein files.
Okay, so it's a bill to ask the DOJ to release the Epstein files. All right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it seems like 7 other Republicans have co-sponsored this legislation. Let's hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say, because she is now, again, ladies and gentlemen, actively and willingly putting herself on Donald Trump's shit list, apparently.
Sponsor with Thomas Massey. It's a bill, and we've got to do a discharge petition. So we have to get 218 to sign the discharge petition. We can pull it out and force a vote on the floor. Look, I think this is the right thing to do. Transparency, no matter what. Whatever the information is, we figure it out when it comes out. But when it comes to the most famous...
Are you sure? Are you sure you're ready to see whatever information comes out? Even if it pertains to your dear leader? Even if it pertains to the man that you've been supporting and up the asshole of for the last 10 years? That guy, are you sure? I just want to make sure you're ready, because, ooh, baby, who knows what's going to come out? I'm ready. I don't give a shit what comes out. I don't give a shit who's on that list. Send them away. Hey. But are you ready?
A pedophile in our modern day history that ran in circles with the most rich, elite, and powerful people in the world.
One of them now president of the United States.
Yeah, I think America deserves to know.
All right, Madge. Hey. This is a great example of credit where credit is due, right? I don't know if this is a broken clock moment. I don't know what this moment is, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is now willing to raise her right hand, sign on to legislation with Ro Khanna to make the DOJ release what they have on the Epstein files, right? So again, a victory where victories can be won is a good victory. Now, let's see what comes from this. Let's see how far they are really willing to push. But if this is going to start happening inside the government, as, you know, not just in the MAGA base, not just with MAGA commentators, not just on Twitter, right? But if this is going to start happening inside of the government inside the Republican House, inside the Republican Senate, then, oh boy, Donald Trump's got some friggin' issues coming, mate. He's got some friggin' issues coming, mate. Oh boy. All right,
and when will that, can that actually come to a vote? I guess you're going to do a discharge position so they can't lock you guys up in the rules. Will that come to a vote today or tomorrow?
No, it won't, because it takes 7 days with the discharge petition. And so I believe that would go into next week, but I don't even know if we're going to be in session next week. There's a rumor that it may get canceled, but I'm not confirmed on that.
MTG, where do people go on social media and your website?
couldn't give a shit less where people should go to find you. This is Laura Loomer on the same exact broadcast, same exact show, being again questioned about a similar thing. So let's see what, again, Laura Loomer has to say, and if she's now putting herself on this shit list, on this MAGA hit list that Donald Trump is creating, that we just heard him say in that interview, that he's going to remember the names, he's going to remember the people, he's going to remember all the MAGA base that continue to call for answers on this. So I guess Laura Loomer, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene and several others, are now putting themselves square on the shit list of Donald Trump. Let's just see.
Look, it's absolutely necessary. This was a campaign promise, so absolutely they have to do this. President Trump said that they were going to get accountability, and he promised as part of his Agenda 47 to go after weaponized government.
You know, it's funny. You would almost think that she was talking about the Epstein files there. Now, just listen like she's talking about the Trump administration as it pertains to the Epstein files. She's not. She's not here, because this is the little bit that I did watch. She's actually talking about like Comey, the weaponized government that they keep talking about as far as Democrats go. So she's not talking about the Epstein files, but just in your brain, just kind of switch that a little bit, calculate that as if she's talking about the Epstein files. And it's funny how right she would be when she talks about how it's a campaign promise. They, transparency is needed. They want people held accountable. Like, that is what she'd be right, but that's not what she's talking about.
So absolutely they have to do this. President Trump said that they were going to get accountability.
He did say they were going to get accountability.
And he promised as part of his Agenda 47.
He did promise as part of his Agenda 47 that he was going to, dismantle the deep state. He was going to release the Epstein files, the fucking JFK files, right? So check.
To go after weaponized government and to crack down on the weaponization of the intel agencies.
Right, and the deep state that was withholding information, that was helping and actively defending pedophiles. Check.
So naturally, in order to fulfill that campaign promise, you have to appoint a special counsel to
You got to appoint a special counsel to look at this whole Epstein thing, right? That would make sense. Check.
Investigate these people, because there's a lot of people that need to go to jail. We can't just keep.
There are definitely a lot of people that need to go to jail in this. Check.
Talking about it. People need to start going to jail. We need to take the handcuffs out and start dragging people to jail.
We need to take the handcuffs off and start dragging people to jail. Check. And again, remember, she's not talking about the Epstein thing. She's not. This has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing to do. She wants to arrest old Democrats. She wants to arrest James Comey. That's who she's talking about. But if you put this and connect that to the Epstein thing, it's fucking hilarious how right she would be.
We need to start having conversations about military tribunals and charging people for treason. I
agree. If anybody in the military has been found to be on the Epstein list or have done anything illegally as it pertains to child sex trafficking or pedophilia, I definitely agree.
With the appropriate punishment for treason. So
I don't know. I don't know if it would be considered treason, Laura. I think we got to back it down there. But, I definitely want them all brought to justice. But this is where you can tell she's not talking about the Epstein thing, right?
So we have laws in this country for a reason. And
we absolutely do have laws in this country for a reason. Check.
Some of these people, Steve, I'm sure you would agree with me, are guilty of committing treason.
I don't know about treason, but definitely crimes. So it's just funny. Now I think Steve goes on to ask her about the Epstein thing. But it's just funny how well she would have been, how right she would have been, how well spoken that would be, how well-rounded and thought out that would have been if it was an argument for what's going on right now in the Trump administration. It's fucking wild. I love it. All right, here we go.
Do you also think that special counsel should take on this situation with the Epstein material to make sure it's all handled appropriately? Because all this discussion about what you can release, what you can't release, or do you think a separate special counsel should be appointed for that?
I mean, the weaponization of the intel agencies and the weaponization of government against President Trump is so big in its own that I think that it should be a separate special counsel.
You see what she did there? So she's saying, yes, she thinks it should be a special counsel, but it's a special counsel to look at the weaponization of government and all of this against Donald Trump. Did you catch that? Listen to that part. Listen to this one more time.
Intel agencies and the weaponization of government against President Trump is so big and
Against President Trump.
in its own that I think that it should be a separate special counsel, just for the sake of, keeping everything separate. Look, this is dragging on. And President Trump, when he said it was a hoax, he's not saying that this whole situation is a hoax. Obviously.
Oh, okay, we got an explanation. We got an explanation, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can put this on the big screen for everybody to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an explanation as to what Donald Trump means when he says this is all
It's not a hoax,
just a
because-
hoax, okay? Let me see if I can play this back. Okay, let's get this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. You got your pens and pencils? I got my notebook here. I got my pen pad. All right, let's go. We're gonna get a good explanation here as to what the hoax actually means. What is involved in this hoax? Laura Loomer, take it away.
Of the intel agencies and the weaponization of government against President Trump is so big in its own that I think that it should be a separate special counsel, just for the sake of, keeping everything separate. Look, this is dragging on. And President Trump, when he said it was a hoax, he's not saying that this whole situation is a hoax. Obviously, it's not a hoax because
All right, so when he says it's a hoax, okay, when Trump says hoax, does not mean hoax. Check. Okay, got that. Okay. That's one. All right, so when he says hoax, doesn't mean hoax. Okay. Do you guys get that one? You writing that one down? Should I slow it down? I'll stop in between each note and point so we can get through each point in ourselves, all right?
Ghislaine Maxwell is currently sitting in a prison.
Oh, hold on. Let's get that one more time. What did she say about Ghislaine?
And President Trump, when he said it was a hoax, he's not saying that this whole situation is a hoax. Obviously, it's not a hoax. because,
Obviously.
Ghislaine Maxwell is currently sitting in a prison cell for 20 years in Florida.
Okay. So far, I hope you got this. When Donald Trump says it's a hoax, that means it's not a hoax, because obviously it's not a hoax. But when Donald Trump says it's a hoax, it can't be a hoax because Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison. So you started off telling me something about Donald Trump, what he really means when he says it's a hoax, but then just went on to tell me why it's bullshit when he says it's a hoax. Like, what is this explanation? I'm sorry. So it's not a hoax, but it's okay that he calls it a hoax because it's not a hoax. I'm so confused here. You're going to have to fucking reel me back in on this one, Laura.
For her activities with Jeffrey Epstein, who is a convicted.
And thank you so much, guys, to all you fantastic people that have contributed so far. Thank you so much for tuning in, all you fabulous people. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's free to do both those things. Leave a comment in the chat, drop some emojis. I really appreciate it. Venmo up in the corner. Take a picture, leave a buck, bust a buck, try your luck in supporting some independent media. I really appreciate it, guys. Once again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Laura Loomer, I guess, trying to explain to us what Donald Trump means by this Epstein thing is just a Democrat hoax. But so far, she's lost me, because all she said so far is that when Donald Trump says it's a hoax, it just means that obviously it's not a hoax. See if you can follow that one.
Convicted child sex predator. What President Trump meant when he said that this was a hoax is that it's starting to consume the presidency every single day.
When Donald Trump says it's a hoax, he just means it's consuming the presidency? When Donald Trump says it's a hoax, he just means, yeah, no? What the fuck does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Jeffrey Epstein, who is a convicted child sex predator. What President Trump meant when he said that this was a hoax is that it's starting to consume the presidency every single day during the first term. It was Russia, 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 Stormy Daniels, blah, 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 blah. We don't need every single day the media to ignore all of the amazing things that President Trump is.
Okay, so what about that makes it a hoax? The fact that you don't like people are talking about it? I'm lost, guys. I am so confused. Like, I thought she may have had some like prepared statement. Maybe she had some communication with Donald Trump. Maybe there was some like cohesive plan in this administration to get out of this, but clearly that's not the fucking case. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm going to have to run by that one more time, and I do apologize for extending how long this lady is going to be on your screen. Honestly, I'd rather look at the fucking crocodile in the background. But again, she's trying to explain this as Donald Trump says it's a hoax. It's just because it's consuming the presidency, which means it's just a news story because he's involved with it and he's president, right? But at the same, like, I'm just one more time.
This whole situation is a hoax. Obviously, it's not a hoax because, well, Ghislaine Maxwell is currently sitting in a prison cell for 20 years in Florida for her activities with Jeffrey Epstein, who is a convicted child sex predator. What President Trump meant when he said that this was a hoax is that it's starting to consume the presidency. Every single day during the first term, it was Russia, 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 Stormy Daniels.
Which wasn't a hoax.
Daniels, blah, blah, blah.
Which wasn't a hoax.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so two things that weren't hoaxes. You're now using an example to tell me that what Donald Trump means by Jeffrey Epstein is now a hoax. I'm so fucking lost. I'm usually pretty good at following this shit, too. I'm usually pretty good at deciphering this bullshit from MAGA. I'm usually pretty good at deciphering the bullshit from Republicans. I just think she's lost here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think she has an answer to this question. I think she's flailing. I think she wants to somehow stay on Donald Trump's good side while also seeming like she wants to have answers still to this, right, kind of thing. But I don't get this fucking argument. I really don't.
You don't need every single day the media to ignore all of the amazing things that President Trump is doing. You have yesterday cracking down on fentanyl, the lowest numbers of illegal alien crossings into our country in a decade. So many things, all these great trade deals, you name it, every single.
What great trade deals? I'm sorry. What great trade deals? That's the fucking hoax. There's a hoax. Hey, there's the hoax. The hoax is that we have signed some trade deals, apparently. Where have those trade deals been? Because the letters don't, they're not, those aren't the deals, Laura. I think you know that as well as everybody else. Thank you, Monica. Appreciate you very much. I appreciate that. You guys, too, can help out and, contribute to the channel, just like Monica and all of the rest of the fine people that have contributed so far by super chatting, sending a super sticker, becoming a channel member just underneath me, Venmo, or becoming a patron at patreon.com/BostonBrian. But yeah, I'm lost on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Doesn't seem to compute in my mind, at least.
Single day, President Trump is winning on behalf of the American people to make America great again. So appoint a special counsel and let's move on.
And zero of anything that she just said explained what Donald Trump means when he says it's a hoax. Not a single fucking word of anything that she just said gives any sort of explanation whatsoever to what Donald Trump means by when he says that this Jeffrey Epstein situation is a Democrat hoax. Zero. Fucking zero.
I want to talk about Epstein every single day. I want to talk about.
Oh, we don't want to talk about Epstein every single day. It's only like so many girls that were victimized by him and like several thousand high profile individuals around the world that are still walking freely among us every day. It's like, why are we talking about this every day? The guy died under President Trump in prison. Oh, it's like, it's so annoying. What the fuck are we talking about every single day? It's like fentanyl and shit. What the fuck?
Other things and have a special counsel investigate this. And also, Pam Bondi should apologize for lying to the American people. I think.
I'm sorry. When does the fucking attorney general just get to apologize for lying straight to the faces of the American people? Since when is that a thing? Since when does the Secretary of Defense get to go behind the back of the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces, to delay a weapon shipment to a fucking ally that's at war with an enemy? And all of a sudden, that's just like, okay, we'll go about our daily business. Forget that one. Like, don't mention that he brought a reporter into a fucking signal chat and decided to give away our, attack plans and times and dates and the weapons we were using. Forget that. But now he's going behind the back of the president. But don't worry about that one. Now the attorney generals come out and apparently is lying straight to the faces of the American people. And all that is required is like an apology to move on. Since when is that a fucking thing?
Apology would go a long way. Clearly, she got so obsessed and so in love with seeing herself on Fox News, loving all the media attention, that she said things that were
Oh, okay. All right. Here's a little bit of like some sort of, I don't know, tainted explanation, I guess, as to what's going on in this whole situation. This is the first little bit of like why this is happening that I've heard from the MAGA base. Now Laura's trying to say that this whole thing has blown up because Pam Bondi, or Pam Blondie, as she calls her, just likes hearing her voice. She just likes seeing her face on Fox News. She just likes getting into interviews, and she got a little carried away in her interviews and may have said a few things here and there that may not have been true, that misled the American public. And she didn't really mean to say she had the client list. She didn't really mean to say that she's seen thousands of videos with thousands of victims and how disgusting that it was and how we're definitely going to hold these people accountable. She didn't mean to say all that in several different wide-ranging interviews. Also caught on a hot mic, also with leaked audio. She didn't mean to say. She just likes hearing herself talk, really. That's what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know. In case you didn't know, that's what's going on here.
clearly not true. So she needs to apologize.
Yes, I got to play that one more time. Here she says that Pam Bondi, as she says, only blew this out of proportion, only said she had the Jeffrey Epstein client list on her desk, only said that she's seen thousands of explicit and lewd videos involving several 100 or 1,000 different victims. She only said that because she likes to hear herself talk, apparently. This is Laura Loomer's explanation now.
And have a special counsel investigate this. And also, Pam Bondi should apologize for lying to the American people. I think an apology would go a long way. Clearly, she got so obsessed and so in love with seeing herself on Fox News, loving all the media attention, that she said things that were clearly not true.
So she said things that were clearly not true because she just likes the spotlight, ladies and gentlemen. She just, I just love hearing myself talk. The more times I can just say president, the better. But again, nobody's buying this bullshit. Nobody's buying this bullshit. Nobody's buying the fact that Pam Bondi just likes hearing herself talk and decided to create up this fucking situation based on the illusion that she has these files that she really doesn't have, but she just wanted to kind of, I don't know, I guess give the MAGA base some bait. Just wanted to throw some chum in the waters for the MAGA bait and get them all riled up and stirred up just so she could rip their hearts out a couple months later by telling them that none of this exists, really. Apparently, that's the explanation to this, according to Laura Loomer.
So she needs to apologize for lying or for getting ahead of herself and misspeaking. Whether she wants to say she lied or she wants to say she misspoke, I don't care. She needs to.
Okay, so here, this is okay. Now I see it, ladies and gentlemen. Now I see what's going on. Now I see what's going on. People are now just begging Pam Bondi to take the fall. Right? They are begging Pam Bondi to step in front of the sword, to dive in front of that bullet that is clearly heading straight at Donald Trump's fucking, I guess, earlobe. But yeah, now they're asking her to take the bullet. Doesn't matter. You just heard Laura Loomer say it. Doesn't matter if you say you lied. Doesn't matter if you say you misspoke. Doesn't matter if you say you were misinformed. Doesn't matter if you say it was a hoax. Doesn't matter if you say it was all written by Obama and someone stuck a chip up my ass, turned me into a robot, and made me say that shit. Doesn't matter if you say that, I don't know, Elon and his grok somehow put a chip in your head and it caused you to say all this. Doesn't matter what you say. Just go out there and say that it was your fault, that you made all this shit up, that everybody should forget about it so that everybody can take the focus off of Donald Trump, right? That's what's going on here. They need somebody to take the fall. They need somebody to go down, right? Somebody's got to go. And that's why she's only asking for an apology. You don't even have to get fired. You don't even have to lose your job. That's how enticing they're trying to make this for Pam Bondi. They want you to say sorry. They want you to say you lied. They want you to say you were stupid and misinformed and don't know how to do your job correctly. But don't worry. You won't lose your job. Just say sorry and everything will be smoothed over and we'll continue on with our day-to-day business. That's how they're trying. That's how enticing they're trying to make this to Pam Bondi. Just do, like, please, Pam. Like, all you got to do is go out there and say you were wrong or you lied or whatever you got to say, but just say it. That's the point. That's what's going on right now.
Apologize because she has created an embarrassment and also a PR crisis for the president.
she has created. Imagine putting this on Pam Bondi. Like, as much involvement as Pam Bondi has in this, right? And as much blame that should be placed upon Pam Bondi. The fact that you put the majority of the blame on Pam Bondi and make it seem like it was her doing, like it was her creation, like somehow that she came up she conceived the plan to cover this all up after she had already told the MAGA base that she had the answers to it. Like, it's fucking unbelievable to me. Again, and I know I shouldn't be amazed at this point because we've covered it so much, but to still at this point being like, you got to look at Pam Bondi. Don't look at Donald Trump. We got to be mad at Pam Bondi. This has nothing to do with Trump is really wild to me.